We all recognize that groundwater is a valuable resource that we have here, whether you live in the cities or whether you're a farmer or rural residential, or even in the smaller communities. What we need to do now is that we also understand that groundwater is a limited resource. And so the Act now requires us to not just protect, but to manage groundwater supply, something we've never done before. And so what the state has done in terms of how do we fix it, they've allowed the local agencies to all come together and form GSAs, groundwater sustainability agencies, to kind of allow the locals to put together a plan to begin to address the groundwater overdraft that Rich was referring to.
And today you have basically a resources control board that's looking at pulling more water from the tributaries that feed into the San Joaquin River, in essence taking away the water for farmers and the cities.
So fortunately, within the 8 counties San Joaquin Valley, 7 of the counties have conducted economic impact studies of some sort resulting in SGMA. Every county that has done it, it's billions of dollars and tens of thousands of jobs that are going to get wiped out off the valley floor. So, you know, what's the answer? It's going to be tens of billions. It's going to be billions of dollars and tens of thousands of jobs. And the studies are out there. They've been developed. There's some idea about maybe updating them, but this is going. It's 35 billion generated in the valley, in that 8-county area, and those 8 counties are probably talking $10 billion gone.
If you look back historically, the state has a lot of information on this basin specifically, but understand that within this basin, there's a lot of differences in the way of surface water delivery. There's a lot of differences in the way of hydrology. There's a lot of differences in the pumping levels. Our GSA specifically, for example, we have people pumping from 60 to 80 feet all the way down to 350 feet. And so there's a lot of variability within basins too, but generally the basins were defined originally by the state, and then we had the luxury, we as in the 7 basins in our GSA, had the luxury of helping define that further by what the like similarities that we could deal with and make it the best we could. But
just so we don't sound like a bunch of Debbie Downers on stage here, there are some efforts underway to address that problem, the shortage. Tommy and I and a bunch of others are involved in a project called the San Joaquin Valley Blueprint, and it is in essence a project, an effort that has identified the size of the water supply deficit, which we referenced earlier, and it proposes solutions to fill the gap.
You know, the process that Johnny's talking about is we've got to look at it holistically with everybody in the tent working on it. Ag, urban, environment, disadvantaged communities. So that's, in my mind, a path forward is we've got to work on this together as a community of people who share this valley and the things that are great here.
Are we going to put meters on them? Are we going to put meters on our farmers? At this particular point in time, and I'm only speaking for the North Kings GSA, we're not going to do that, okay? But it doesn't mean that in the future we won't. It is a tool in the toolbox that was provided to us in this fall.
And that one of those economic impact studies was done by wide area growers, and it was billions of dollars, thousands of jobs for those folks. And the disadvantaged communities are in the same predicament. They are also these areas that have historically not taken surface water deliveries, exclusively reliant on groundwater, and now they're looking for how can we protect the level of the water so our wells don't go dry, and how we protect the quality of the water so that the quality is sufficient so they can go home at night and use it without having to second guess it.
if in fact you say we're going to have to limit your pumping to X amount, and he finds that, okay, I can take out 5 acres and still irrigate this other portion and do very well on, or I can change crops to something less water intensive, or I can cut back the water on the entire parcel and still get up in a crop. It may not be as good as crop, but it'll be a crop. That should be left to the farmer. That shouldn't be the GSA forcing it on a farmer.
They have the fundamental rule that before a developer can develop, he's got to show he's got 20 years worth of water supply. Otherwise they can't develop. That's going to be a problem because, again, most of these cities take water, the bulk of them, from the ground. And so they're going to be having the experience of having less growth in their cities and less jobs in construction and so forth. You know, it's going to drop like 50% in value. And think about it, if you bought land for a certain dollar amount, and all of a sudden the next day, boom, you know. So people are going to be thinking a lot differently when they go buy farmland, where they're going to buy it, depending on the water source.